A step out of the campus gates. A deep breath. A city bathed in warm sunlight. A perfect day for colorful possibilities. Bump. Onyx turned around to glare at the girl who bumped into her, and the girl looked back at Onyx. What are you looking at? Onyx maintained unwavering eye contact with every word. Sorry. The other girl flinched and backed away. The one-sided battle of wills ended faster than it had started. Onyx dropped a bag of spray paint cans, took out 2 cans, closed her eyes, and began shaking the cans. The metronomic clacking of the cans played cheerleader as she mentally mapped out her masterpiece. When a city is dull with stale grey and faded brick red, what better way to spruce it up than with soothing greenery? If there's no real park in sight, why not make do with the graffiti of one on the wall? Trees, grass, lakes, vibrant colors to provide an air of optimism to a place that looked in dire need of some. With the final touches done, Onyx stepped back and whistled in self-content. Another hard day's work nicely finished. A quiet spot on the roof. A sketch pad at the ready. A hotly contested soccer match at a nearby field. A swirl of intensity gripping the match's spectators. Scream. Robin kept his eye on one particular player. This player had been bounding up and down the field all match long. Boundless energy and relentless work rate. Robin closed his eyes and searched his memories for a pose that best exemplified the player's intensity. With a good one in mind, Robin went to work, sketching and drawing, exactly the way he had envisioned in his mind. Robin put down his pencil and exhaled. The drawing was done, and pretty good work too, if he did say so himself. Whee! The referee's whistle signaled the end of the match, and the players walked off the field, many of them greeted by their girlfriends. Robin looked on from his vantage point on the roof, a tinge of envy striking him. How nice it must be to have friends to kick a ball with, or a special someone to be there to support you. Wishful thinking, Robin mumbled to himself. Onyx dropped the bags and cracked her knuckles. A new grey wall meant another blank canvas for her. A place for a new masterpiece. Something to spruce up the area with. And she knew just the thing for it. Robin daydreamed about his next drawing as he strolled leisurely, only to be snapped out of his reverie by a metronomic clacking, followed by the unmistakable fsh of a spray can. Robin looked around and spotted a rather tall, jet black-haired girl spray painting a wall. Her movement, her intensity, something about it immediately inspired him, and he quickly sought a hiding spot to observe the girl. After finding a good place to sit down, Robin got to work, observing the girl, watching her movement. There was something about the fluidity in her movement that captivated him. Once he finished observing, he closed his eyes and pictured the perfect image to draw. Phew, done. Robin put down his pencil and looked up, only to see a decorated wall, but no decorator. Eh? Robin blinked. The girl probably must have left at some point while he was drawing. Were you drawing me? A stern voice came up from behind Robin. Huh? Robin nearly dropped his sketch pad when he realized that he wasn't alone. Robin slowly craned his head up till he came eye to eye with that jet black-haired girl from before. Onyx. With Onyx's hair covering part of her face, her one-eyed glare was incredibly intimidating, and within a split second, Robin flinched and looked right back down at his sketch pad. Onyx spotted the sketch pad and reached down to pick it up. Robin's resistance amounted to nothing more than the friction between his fingers and the paper. Onyx looked over the sketch and was immediately drawn in. The way this boy drew her, it looked full of soul, full of life. The portrait had a look of focus in her eye. The portrait captured a feel of fluidity. It made her look as though she was dancing. Dancing with spray cans, somehow. But still, this was quite something to behold. Onyx looked down at Robin, who still had his head bowed. He looked like he could be scared into catatonia with but a word. Onyx looked at the sketch pad again and spotted one last detail in the portrait. That girl had a really nice smile. Was this how she looked when she smiled? Onyx exhaled. If she could fault the boy for drawing her without her permission, she could certainly forgive him on account of being so good at what he drew. Not to mention, she appreciated good art, and this was good art. She gently placed the sketch pad on Robin's lap, prompting a surprised reaction from him. You know, if you want to draw me next time, ask first. Onyx turned and walked away. Robin spoke up, prompting Onyx to look back. Robin pulled Onyx's portrait out of the sketch pad and held it out. For me? Please. Robin waited for the paper to leave his fingers. Thanks. Onyx accepted the portrait. You know, you're really good at this. Like really, really good. I like it. Bye now. Onyx turned and left. Robin slowly lifted his head up when he felt the intimidating aura dissipate. The girl was nowhere to be seen, and he heaved a sigh of relief. With the way she glared at him, she might have beaten him to a bloody pulp if he looked at her the wrong way. And yet, she had such a nice smile on her when she was working with the spray paint. Two contrasting halves of the same person. She did praise his work though, and that meant something to him. It felt nice being praised. Onyx turned down a corner into an alley, admiring some of her past handiwork on the walls along the way. A few steps in, she spotted some scattered papers on the floor. On each sheet was a portrait. The drawing style of the portraits seemed familiar. Then it hit her. That boy from yesterday? Onyx went further into the alley, picking up portrait after portrait as she went. And she heard a sound coming from behind the corner. The sound of fists meeting body, of helpless whimpers and groans. Onyx dashed over, and indeed, 3 punks were towering over a boy who was curled up in a fetal position. Ganging up on a defenseless person? Onyx glared hard at the perpetrators while they looked back with leering grins. For the next few minutes, the sounds of punches and kicks, slams and groans filled the alley until it all subsided into silence. Onyx wiped the blood off her fists as she walked to the boy who was still crumpled in a heap, leaving behind 3 unconscious, swirl-riddled punks. Are you alright? Onyx said as she helped the boy to a seated position. A quick look at him confirmed that he really was the boy who drew her yesterday. With her hands on his shoulders, she could feel him shivering. No doubt those punks really did a number on him. Look, it's me. Onyx tried to speak in as gentle a tone as she possibly could, something that she was patently unused to doing. They're gone now. Your drawings are here. See? Onyx placed the portraits she retrieved on Robin's lap. Robin saw the portraits and immediately looked up at his rescuer. The same girl whose portrait he drew yesterday. She didn't have that harsh glare in her eye anymore. This time, It was a much gentler, much more approachable look. Seeing it helped him calm down, the shivers in his body somewhat ebbing away. Come, I'll help you up. Onyx offered a hand, letting Robin take all the time he needed to get back to his feet. Thank you. Robin got up and slowly started limping, the pain and bruises still bothering him greatly. Alleys like these can get dangerous. You really don't want to be here unless you can handle yourself. Onyx kept her pace deliberate to escort Robin. Your wall art is really nice. Onyx looked at Robin in surprise. Then she put two and two together and realized that maybe it wasn't so surprising after all. Much like how she recognized his work, he recognized hers too at the entrance of the alley. He must have walked in hoping to see more, which led to the encounter with the punks. His sketches look great too. There's that intensity, that focus. The people you drew looked like they were really passionate about what they were doing. Sorry for yesterday. Onyx looked at Robin and stifled a chuckle. He was still apologizing for something she'd already forgiven him for. Don't sweat it. Already said it was alright. Onyx patted Robin's back as slightly as she could to avoid injuring him again. I'm Robin. Name's Onyx. Good to meet you. Well, it would be better if you weren't banged up. Onyx and Robin looked at each other with little smiles, both seeing the funny side of that comment. Come on, let's get you out of here. Together, Onyx and Robin made their way out through the alley, with an optimistic afternoon sun ready to greet them.